Welcome to Positive Atheism English channel. Today we'll continue the third chapter in the book What is Religion, written by Robert G. Ingersoll. The third chapter, The Power That Works for Righteousness. Most people cling to the supernatural. If they give up one God, they imagine another. Having outgrown Jehovah, they talk about the power that works for righteousness. What is this power? Man advances and necessarily advances through experience. A man wishing to go to a certain place comes to the where the road divides. He takes the left hand, believing to be the right road, and travel until he finds that it is the wrong one. He retraces his steps and takes the right hand road and reaches the place desired. The next time he goes to the same place, he does not take the left hand road. He has tried that road and knows that it is the wrong road. He takes the right road, and thereupon these theologians says there is a power that works for righteousness. A child, charmed by the beauty of the flame, grasps it in the dimpled hand. The hand is burned, and after that the child keeps its hand out of the fire. The power that works for righteousness has taught the child a lesson. The accumulated experience of the world is a power and force that works for righteousness. This force is not conscious, not intelligent. It has no will, no purpose. It is a result. So, thousands have endeavored to establish the existence of God by the fact that we have what is called the moral sense, that is to say, a conscience. It is insisted by these theologians and by many of the so-called philosophers that this moral sense, this sense of duty, of obligation, was imported, and that conscience is an exotic. Taking the ground that it was not produced here, was not produced by man, they then imagine a God from whom it came. Man is a social being. We live together in families, tribes, and nations. The members of a family, of a tribe, of a nation, who increases the happiness of the family, of the tribe, or of the nation, are considered good members. They are prized, admired, and respected. They are regarded as good, that is to say, as moral. The members who add to the misery of the family, the tribe, or the nation are considered bad members. They are blamed, despised, punished. They are regarded as immoral. The family, the tribe, the nation creates a standard of conduct of morality. There is nothing supernatural in this. The greatest of human beings has said, conscience is born of love. The sense of obligation, of duty was naturally produced. Among savages, the immediate consequences of actions are taken into consideration. As people advance, the remote consequences are perceived. The standard of conduct becomes higher. The imagination is cultivated. A man puts himself in the place of another. The sense of duty becomes stronger, more imperative. Man judges himself. He loves, and love is the commencement, the foundation of the highest virtues. He injures one that he loves. Then comes regret, repentance, sorrow, conscience. In all this, there is nothing supernatural. Man has deceived himself. Nature is a mirror in which man sees his own image, and all supernatural religions rest on the pretense that the image, which appears to be beyond this mirror, has been caught. All the metaphysicians of the spiritual type, from Plato to Swedenborg, have manufactured their facts, and all founders of religions have done the same. Suppose that an infinite God exists, what can we do for him? Being infinite, he is conditionless. Being conditionless, he cannot be benefited or injured. Think of the egotism of a man who believes that an infinite being wants his prize. And with this, we end the third chapter of the book, and in the next episode, we'll go to the fourth chapter of this book. Thank you.
For more videos, please subscribe to this channel Positive Atheism and activate the bell icon.